Just wanted to take you guys on a day in the life of a real estate agent. So it is currently 8:45 in the morning, and I just left the office, headed to my first appointment. Got into the office about 8 o'clock, ran some numbers for this client that I'm going to meet with. They're currently in foreclosure. The house actually sold at the sheriff's sale. I'm just going through and checking some of these foreclosure cases, and I noticed that your house is now scheduled to sell at the sheriff's sale again for May 6th. That's how I help people in your situation. Basically, with the sheriff's sale coming, I mean, you did what you could try to do. The only two options to avoid the sale are to, one, either work with the bank and get caught up on your payments, or two, file bankruptcy. If those two options didn't work, then the only other option is to sell it on your own accord versus the bank selling it at auction and then forcing you out. That's what I don't want to see happen. We could put the house on the market depending on the condition. I also have buyers that buy houses, without inspections, as is, that sort of thing, so you don't have to do any kind of repairs and that sort of thing. But I would need to see the condition of the house, and then we could kind of talk a little bit more about what this process looks like. But with the time frame being so short, what's probably going to happen is, because I don't think I can find a buyer to close before the sheriff's sale. So what's probably going to happen is it's going to go to the sheriff's sale, and it's either going to sell to a third-party buyer at the sheriff's sale, or it's going to sell back to the bank. And at that point, you still have your redemption rights. So I don't know if anybody else has explained this to you, but per law, you have 3 months to redeem the foreclosure, meaning all you have to do is come up with the money that it was purchased for at the sheriff's sale. So I'm seeing that the petition for foreclosure back in July last year was $142. Do you know what the balance or the judgment is up to now? Yeah, it looks like at that time in September, it was like $141. I mean, it would probably be advantageous to go ahead and meet with me sometime, either later this week or next week, to kind of talk about that process. But most likely it's going to go to the sheriff's sale, and then we're going to be working in the redemption rights to try to remove that foreclosure from your record and put your equity back in your pocket. Yeah, it's something that the bank's doing because they haven't been paid on their monthly payments. Well, that's where they sell. That's where the court will sell the property. So they'll put it up for auction to the highest bidder. The sheriff is just directed by the court to hold the auction, and usually he just gets case numbers. He doesn't even have addresses until he's sitting there at the auction. Yeah, I mean, that's the two options now are just to, after the sheriff's sale on May 6th, you're going to have 3 months. And after those 3 months, then the bank's going to take possession of the property and probably serve an eviction notice. But if you were able to get it sold prior to the end of those 3 months, then, I mean, you're still on a 3-month timeline, no matter what it looks like, right? But if you were to find somebody that's willing to give you X amount of dollars for it over, what's owed, then you could possibly walk away with your equity. Yeah, I think your county tax appraised value is about $235 or so. Yeah, I could pull some comps and everything and bring that stuff out and show you guys and kind of walk through the house and give you my opinion of what the price would be if we were to put it on the market. You can certainly sell it to somebody but usually you're going to get the most amount of money if you put it on the market and get multiple buyers to be interested. So is there a time later this week or maybe next week that we could get together and kind of talk about this a little more? Okay, that sounds good. Thank you, guys. We'll talk to you soon. So I'm going to meet with them to talk about options of redeeming the property and how we can possibly do that. Just need to check out the condition of the property and kind of talk about some numbers, see what we can put together on that one. While I was at the office doing that, I got a call from a longtime client, an investor that may have a duplex coming for sale, so I've got to put a CMA together for him on that. And then I've got a couple other appointments this afternoon, so come along with me. Thanks. Hey Anthony, how are you? Just wanted to follow up with you, see where you were at on finding that approval for, if you were still interested. Did you talk to Silver Lake? Okay, let me reach out to Ryan and see kind of what his standpoint was on that, and then I'll ask some of the other people here around the office what other lenders might be able to do something like this.
I don't know.
Okay, I'll see what I can find out. We had another LOI sent in, so I was gonna talk to the seller, and I know he's gonna ask me where you're at on this. Okay, I'll try today too. I'll call them and see if they'll let me order that disconnect.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you, sir. We'll talk soon. Okay guys, so just got done with my meeting right there at that house. Again, we are working on selling it in the redemption period. Good news is the owners of this property already had a buyer possibly lined up for this property. So I'm gonna be reaching out to them, see if we can strike a deal. If not, we'll be sending this to the investor list and seeing if we can find a cash buyer for this to get them out of the foreclosure. So now I'm headed over to a property that I walked yesterday to go ahead and put a lockbox on it. I didn't have a lockbox with me yesterday, so we've got to run over there and get a lockbox on it. Okay, we got that lockbox dropped off. Now we are going to head to a seller closing. My seller's signing paperwork to close on their house later. I think next week is the actual closing. But headed over there, and then we'll go back to the office and get some CMAs done and some other computer stuff done. All the while this morning, while we've been driving around, I have been negotiating a deal. We got an offer on one of our listings, and so we've been communicating back and forth with the buyer's agent, with my seller, and we are in some tough negotiations here. My seller is about to his bottom dollar, and I don't know if we're going to be able to get the buyer up. We're probably about $2,500 to $3,000 away, and sometimes that's what it comes down to on these deals. So I'm working that out. As soon as I get that worked out, we'll get the contract and everything sent over to the seller and hopefully get that under contract today. But it's going to really come down to this negotiation. So wish me luck. Okay guys, just leaving Security First Title. Seller closing went without a hitch. Everything was hunky-dory. Got all the docs signed. Now the title company is going to hold those docs until we fund the deal on the 29th next week. So headed back to the office to get some office work done. We'll see you there.